welcome back to the Greasy Sports. I'm Shawn.
I'm your host, Dom.
And Mo's not here today.
Mo is not here today, but
Would
no.
have been for me.
Yes.
Nah, that's not the case. I'm just, I thought I was only going to be a special guest last week. No surprise, I'm back next week already, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's because we just love you so much. It's hard to kick you out.
Thank you, Dom. I appreciate that.
You're very knowledgeable on all things, so.
Thanks. All right, I know, Dom, you said you want to talk about the, we want to get into the ultimatum of this blogger YouTube boxing concept. I don't want to dive crazy deep into it, like in certain aspects, because there's a lot of that goes on, and I want to be able to still keep up and talk about it as time goes on. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just eliminate all the options right away. I swear, this guy doesn't pay attention for 3 seconds. He's already spilling shit on him. He's Jesus Christ, man. Always some conundrum. Either way, like I said, I want to be able to save some stuff to say as time goes on. You and Dom agree with me on that.
Well, yeah, we'll get into that later.
To start us off, I know the Blueface boxing match was the other night. I did not watch it.
Neither did I.
I watched some highlights. Now, I'll tell you from my best opinion, obviously Blueface won.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's...
he took the first 2 rounds. Now, I've heard of Blueface, obviously. Until this went on, until I saw the first promotion for it, or the first promotion that I saw maybe 2 weeks before the fight, that was the first time I even heard of this guy, Kane Trujillo.
Newman, for those who...
Newman? I don't know.
Something. He's a TikTok... You guys know him.
Yeah,
he's a TikToker.
I swear to God, I found out he was a TikToker. You'd ask. When I walked in and we were talking about it, I was like, he's a YouTuber. And then Dom was like, no, he's a TikToker. I was like, oh, great. Even better. You know what I'm saying? Like
he does like this little dance. It's like...
No, I was about to say, you showed me literally 5 minutes prior to us doing the episode a few of his TikToks. And I was just like, okay, this is exactly what I expected this guy to be. From a TikTok, I was like, all right, he has his little trend, he does what he does. But either way, he's not a very good boxer from what I've seen. It seemed very flagrant. It was only I could be wrong, honestly, I really should have looked into it more. It was only a 3-round fight, I'm pretty sure, right?
Something like that.
It was only 3 rounds.
I mean, either way.
And what's funny about it is, because I saw a lot of people saying this about it on social media, if you guys watch The Grease Trap and you know James, just know that you guys now have to hate on him because he's calling him while we're recording. So,
do I take this phone call?
Yes.
What's up, James? What's up?
Put it on speaker right now.
Okay.
James, you're on the Greasy Sports as we speak.
Oh, word?
Yeah, we're in the middle of the Greasy Sports. What's up?
Holy shit.
Are you here?
What's up, everyone? No, I was just about to ask if you wanted to get a quick bet before, but I guess you guys are too greased up already, so I'll just wait until...
I appreciate the concern, James. I appreciate the thought, but
never have too much.
I'll pass on a bet right now.
Yeah, I'm not in a Beck mood either.
Alright, sounds good.
Thank you, though. See you in a little while. For the Grease Trap. Yes, the Grease Trap.
James, you were featured on the Greasy Sports. Good for you.
Hey, my first...
Alright, now hang the phone up, Don.
Alright, bye, James.
Bye, James. Jesus fucking Christ.
I have the worst luck. Like, people always fucking call me when we're in the middle of something, and, like, it's James, so I thought it was important.
Okay.
Sorry,
back to
I'm
what
sorry.
We were saying, and I lost all my train of thought about this guy, Kane Trujillo. Okay, something about him that I wanted to say. Okay, yeah, so he really just seems, like, from my perspective, like I expected to be, just like any other of these TikTok stars. And it stems into exactly what, this is exactly what I was going to say. What stems into, like how, I guess, the ridiculousness that people don't realize behind these YouTube, TikTok, I don't know, these social media boxing events, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you look at, this fight. It was promoted by the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. They weren't even bare knuckle. They were wearing gloves. I don't think that's so ridiculous, but it just goes to show you, like, that promotion wanted to take this fight probably because they knew it would make a lot of money. They don't even pride themselves in gloved fighting. To my knowledge, I don't know if they do it on, like, a lower end. All of their events in the BKFC are bare knuckle events.
Blueface didn't even want to be a boxer. He didn't want to get involved in this, but he tweeted out that the bare knuckle fighting club championship, whatever.
Yeah. BKFC.
Yeah. KFC.
Shut up. Talk.
They gave him a lot of money to do this.
Yeah.
They gave him like 25, 50 grand.
Big
That's
name.
that's a good money, you know.
Especially considering I'm very familiar with it because I watch combat sports.
Right.
Before this, have you really heard about them much? You probably heard me talk about
yeah,
it before, though.
you're the only reason.
So to say the least, this promotion is still very new. You know what I'm saying? It makes
Right.
sense for them to take something like this, and you'll notice that's. Especially what's funny is a lot of these people are hopping on this. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about this because there's going to be more coming up about it. You know, Jake Paul, obviously. You'll notice right after he had that money-making fight with Triller, with Ben Askren, he signed that big contract with Showtime. And now Showtime's got his multi-million-dollar fights on the line now. You know what I'm saying? And that's good for them, you know? It's crazy to believe how much money this makes. But, you know.
It's honestly, for me, it's really crazy that, like, not so much Blueface, like, that's kind of stupid, but it's just society now that anyone could be a boxer, you know?
Well, that's what I was going to get into.
But, like, before you do get into that, it's kind of crazy to me that Jake Paul was, like, a Viner, then he was on Disney Channel, he got kicked off Disney Channel. He's a YouTuber, Viner, whatever, and now he's a... Like, I hate to, like, be the one who's going to say this, but a lot of people won't admit it, right? And even you, to a certain extent, will admit this, like...
What?
If he keeps going the way that he's going, he does have a chance at being a pro boxer. There's potential in that for him.
I'll tell you. All right. See, here's the thing. Like you said, I pay a lot of attention to combat sports. I'm not saying I'm some guru in the whole thing and I know all about the situation. Let's get away from what we were talking about 2 seconds ago. Now I'm going to get into this, and this is exactly my perspective on how Jake Paul's a fighter. Now, you'll notice, I'm so big on this. This is a different aspect, not even in just fighting. This is in everything. You hear me talk about this all the time about the people who are at the top who have money. When you have, first of all, Jake Paul's a 24-year-old guy, 25-year-old guy, something like that, he's set, his kids are set, you know what I'm saying?
Generational wealth, yeah.
So he has as much money that he knows what to do with, and he has the entire spotlight of the youth. He has the world by the balls bigger than anybody else does right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. It's like we mentioned. If you guys watch the Grease Trap, it's like we mentioned in the Grease Trap. Jake Paul is the 6'9" of the boxing world. You know.
All right. Actually, you know what? I'm on fire right now. Let me get to the fucking point. I'm very big on. I'm not saying this automatically discredits everything he does. I will say this: from what I see, he puts in the work, he puts in the dedication.
Right.
I'm not going to say it's easy for him, but I will say, like I said, when you're set for life and this like that, and he's a very young, athletic guy. It's easy to. I'm not saying it's easy to manifest this. I'm saying you can put yourself in this direction pretty simply. You know, especially I'll get into the steps that he takes. Now, like I said, he has all that money, right?
Mad money.
Think about that.
Cash coming out the wazoo.
Bear that in mind for a second. With that, he can make any of these events happen for himself because, like, not even just with his money, with his name. I don't even know why I brought up money, but with his name particularly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I talk about this all the time. Him and his brothers, they're like master self-marketers.
Uh-huh.
They make their name so big through stuff like that. Vine, Disney. Everybody wants to see their stars fight. You know what I'm saying? He was like, all right. So he started off perfectly. This is exactly what I get into. He started it off perfectly. 4 years ago, what was it when he took that fight with KSI's brother, Deji?
3, yeah, I think it was
that
3.
That was like to kick everything off. You know, people like to see that because, like I said, you like seeing these people online, or you know what I'm saying. Who wouldn't want to see your favorite stars fight in a ring? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Swing and duke it out. He wins that. Then I think he fought another YouTuber after that. Then he fought Nate Robinson.
Nate Robinson.
You'll notice every single time with that he takes his steps. First, he steps in the ring with an athlete. You know what I'm saying? It's all about how people think of it. Stepping with an athlete. All right. Oh, people are going to doubt him because he steps in with an athlete. He proves them wrong. Then now he steps in with a guy who has experience like in combat sports. Ben Askren, who had a big name in combat sports, not boxing though. Remember,
right. Exactly.
Sports, it's all about how people think of it. Now he beats all that hate. You know what I'm saying? Now he's about to fight Tyron Woodley, and I'll tell you exactly my take on this fight. Now. It's either Jake Paul. Now, again, I think it is pretty ridiculous overall, and people tend to ignore it. And again, it's all about how people say words. Sure, Tyron Woodley is past UFC Hall. He's not in the Hall of Fame. He will be in the Hall of Fame. He's a past 5-time world title winner in the welterweight division of the UFC. Like I said, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. He has a huge name in combat sports, but he's 40 years old and he's not a boxer. You know what I'm saying?
And that's exactly, I brought this up on plenty of occasions. Like, I'm not the most educated in combat sports, but I know for a fact that as a UFC fighter, being going into a boxing match, it's not easy.
No, not at all. It's a whole different sport.
Exactly.
And especially, people can't forget, this is where there's like that little bit of a trade-off. Sure, he has a lot more experience in combat sports as a total than Jake Paul, but you can't forget all that experience. He's so far in that direction of MMA. You know what I'm saying? To make the change at 40 years old is a little bit strange. What are you about to say?
What's his preferred fighting style? Like, is he like?
Well, he was in the UFC. He was known for his official style. That I guess you would say he had a more wrestling style.
Okay.
He was to my knowledge, he was a Division I wrestler. I know he NCAA wrestler. I don't know if it's Division II or Division I. I'm pretty sure Division I. He was up there.
Either way, it's impressive.
He was up there. He was like a national champion type shit. Ben Askren, he was an Olympic wrestler. You know what I'm saying? But notice it's funny that he's choosing these guys with Jake Paul is choosing these guys with this not even preferred striking background. You could argue he's choosing Conor McGregor. I could talk about that, but I'll get into that later with Conor McGregor. He knows Conor's not going to pick him, but that's besides the point. Either way, with Jake Paul in this fight with Tyron Woodley, I'll give you my little analysis on it. That's all I want to say about this fight. And it's either that Jake Paul knows something we don't, and he's going to come out with something we're not expecting, and Tyron Woodley's going to show a lot of age, or
potentially
he doesn't realize it, but he's bit off more than he can chew, and he's going to get smoked by Tyron Woodley.
You know what? I'm gonna give my official Greasy Sports opinion on this fight. I'm gonna watch this fight. I don't watch fights, but I'm gonna watch this fight just because of this. Jake Paul is gonna win in the first round. I'm calling it. I'm calling it right now.
Okay.
I just want everyone to know that that's how I'm.
And see, that's the thing with me is because here's the other thing about Tyron Woodley. You can't forget. A lot of people don't know this. He lost his last 4 I was literally just talking about this with my friend Phil yesterday, and I like Phil. He loves UFC. He has a lot of casual opinions, and he literally fell into the same exact Twitter commenting. I guess, like I said, word for word opinion. Yo, tell these guys Mike and James to shut the fuck up because I am on fire right now. Okay, let me get to the fucking point. Fuck, you see? They ruin my role every single fucking
Yeah, you think it's just you? I fucking do this every week, and they always fuck me up.
What was I saying?
I forgot, honestly.
Bro, come on, bro.
You were saying something about Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, I know.
That's really all, because they fucked me up, bro. They caught me. They honestly got me. You were saying something about, because I said that Jake Paul's going to win in the first round.
Oh, okay. All right, Tyron Woodley. Oh, okay. He's lost his last... Oh, now I remember. See, I hate these guys, bro. I was on such a roll. Anyway, I was with my friend Phil. I'm so sorry. And, again, like I said, this is where this Twitter fucking word-for-word opinion comes in. When you want to talk about,
they won't stop. They just won't stop.
Oh, my God, bro. Tell him to shut the fuck up. Text him. Shut the fuck up. What do you call it? With Tyron Woodley, he lost. All right, let me get to the fucking point. He lost his last 4 in the UFC, right? That first fight that he lost, that was when he lost the world title. He was 37 years old. I'm very big on the fact, yeah, sure, he lost it to the current champ, Kamaru Usman, who's a very big beast. I'm very big on the fact that, especially if you're a champion who's getting older, you're eventually just gonna meet your maker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
So, that happened to Stipe Miocic against Francis Ngannou a few months ago. I don't know if that was the...
I know that I don't know who the first guy you said, but I know that Francis Ngannou is a beast.
Well, yeah, he's the heavyweight. He was the guy who took it from Stipe. Stipe beat him 3 years ago when Stipe was a little bit younger and had more experience than Francis Ngannou still does. But, Francis, now 3 years more experience, and Stipe is also older. Anyway, let me get to the point with Tyron. Those 4 that that's the thing. I remember I said it to my boy Phil was like, bro, he lost his last 4 in the UFC. How do you know he can even still fight? I was like, all right. The 4 people that he lost to, let me get to the point, all top contenders in his division. He still could have stuck around in the UFC, fought on a prelim card.
But yeah.
Who's to say that he can't, like I said, unless Jake Paul's going to walk in there with something that we don't know about, I feel like Tyron Woodley really could, regiment himself for this and just smoke. He's training with Floyd Mayweather's team. He's part of the money team now.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah, he's part of the money team.
Wow.
I don't know if that's going to be his official represented team in the fight. I don't know. No, because he can't forget, in the world of the UFC, what do you call it? Tyron Woodley's a very big name over the years, bro. One of the greatest welterweights of all time.
Well, yeah.
5-time world title winner. Like, he was easily one of the greatest welterweights of all time. And what's up?
Do you see a potential with Jake Paul fighting Floyd Mayweather?
No.
Really?
Well, all right, hang on. Let me rephrase that. Now, I think Floyd also did say this was the last time he was going to fight.
Okay.
Now, I do find that kind of funny because now Logan Paul will also forever be remembered for the fact that he
retired Floyd Mayweather.
Not that I guess you could say he retired him, I guess. I mean, no, to say he retired it means that he would have beaten him.
Right, but
all right.
If you want to look at it
there
in a
is
certain
no
way.
winner if we want to be jerk-offs about it. But, yeah. No. I can even talk about that. You know what? I'll say that. That was the stupidest fight of all time. Because this is Logan Paul got himself into literally, it is the perfect, like I said, the perfect trade-off of all time. Like I just said, you could say he technically retired him, but then in like layman's terms, you could say to retire somebody, like we just said, you need to beat them, but there was no real winner of the fight, so you could say he technically did retire him. But then also at the same time, like I said, here's the other part of the trade-off. Like, he's twice his size, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, Floyd Mayweather is still the greatest fighters of all time. Even though he's half his size, he still wasn't able to take down Logan Paul. Like, bro, there's so many, like, it's all back and forth. It makes Floyd Mayweather's last fight one of his most controversial. Not even controversial in the sense that it gets people offended, just in the sense that there's no real answer or whatever, because it was literally a draw. Like I said, like there's really no real answer. Even if Floyd Mayweather was to be called a winner, which I think he rightfully was, they would still say that, Logan still hung in there with him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what I love?
What?
Floyd Mayweather's last 2 professional fights were against people who aren't boxers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One of them wasn't even a real fight. Not a real fight. One of them wasn't even it was an exhibition. Like, it wasn't an official...
exactly, yeah.
Whatever, an official... I can't even think of the word. Whatever. Didn't count on his... It technically wasn't professional. Exhibition and professional are 2 different things.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, it wasn't a professional bout in that term.
We don't.
We're not affiliated, shut up. Okay, we get it. Fucking dumbass. I have to say that about everything. We're not affiliated with Bang Energy either, okay? Just because I knew he was going to bring it up eventually. Alright. You know who does promote Bang Energy? Colby Covington, the guy that actually beat Tyron Woodley 2 fights ago.
I should email Bang and say, hey, I have a sports podcast. You want to hit me up?
Go ahead, Don. Good luck with that. Anyway. So, do I think that fight with Jake Paul and Floyd Mayweather will ever happen? That Jake Paul inevitably wants? No.
Do you think that he could ever fight McGregor?
Alright. Oh, actually, perfect. This is actually what I wanted to get into. Remember earlier how I said, you'll notice the only real I get, because even funny enough, Jake Paul seems to have more beef with these and stimulate more beef with these fucking MMA fighters than boxers.
Dylan Dennis.
Dylan Dennis, MMA fighter. Funny enough, that actually goes back to what I was saying earlier. Notice Tyron Woodley, Ben Askren, 2 guys, yes, obviously UFC fighters, both. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tyron Woodley was also known for his right hand, particularly his right hand power, bro. That shit, used to maul guys with that. But insanely strong, bro. Insanely strong for like a 5'9" guy, for a shorter guy in that division.
He's only 5'9".
Yeah, bro. He held that belt, bro.
He looks bigger.
He's jacked as fuck, bro. He's a brolic dude, bro. Let me get to the fucking point. You'll notice Jake Paul, he picks because he was beefing with Dylan Dennis a lot. Dylan Dennis, MMA fighter, also like a very, very profound like jiu-jitsu instructor and shit. One of Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu coaches, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's like, why don't you pick a guy who's like, yo, I'm a boxer, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like, I was about to say this, Tyson Fury?
Mm-hmm.
You know his half-brother Tommy Fury.
He wants to fight.
In fact, bro, funny enough that this makes that big of a difference. He's like 21. It's like, yo, Jake, he's younger than you, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, they made that video when they were in Puerto Rico. I'm not going to lie, it was a pretty cheesy-ass video with, they made the video with Shaq, and they were like, yo, where you guys at? Like, we need to fight. And Tommy Fury was like, I don't play boxing, Jake. I don't play that shit. He's like, I'm ready to fight. And then Jake was all like, you're not on my level yet. Wait till you get to like wait till you get to like an actual pay-per-view and then we can talk, and then I'll be glad to beat your ass. I'm like, first of all, Tommy Fury will smack the shit out of you, bro. Sure, now then it is when you break it down, Tommy Fury, like 15 of his wins are against people with like garbage ass records. Doesn't matter. So, long story short, Jake Paul, like I said, he stimulates this beef with MMA fighters, the guys who aren't the real boxers. Then he tries to cheat the first young boxer who also, bear in mind, all right, you want to say his records aren't this and that, all right, at least he's fighting guys who are starting at that low level.
Right.
Fury, that's another big thing I'm on with these fucking blogger YouTube fights is the fact that, like, they don't go through the motions, you know what I'm saying? So they just fight each other.
Exactly.
And now Jake Paul's trying to consider himself on the same level as these guys. You know, I'm like, no, come on. These guys are bro, these guys are starting from the bottom, bro. You taking your Vine and Disney money and you fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like I said, I'll call him a fighter, but I'm not going to say he's doing it the same way these other guys are.
Definitely not. And if he ever does make it to the pros, I don't think it should be like...
He said he wants to fucking fight Canelo in 3 years.
Oh, he's going to get his ass whooped. I don't know, actually.
You know what's funny enough? Not even just that. Sure, yeah, exactly. Canelo's not only getting older, he's saying the fight would have to be at like 170. He goes, I would have to make the cut. I'm like, how about you? All right, how much you walk around at? You fight at 190. You walk around at 200. How about you fight the guys who were
your weight class?
I honestly don't even remember the boxing weight classes because there's so fucking many, and different promotions have so many different ones. There's at least like fucking 15.
Yeah, but
that's one thing I preach about at the UFC. There's like 8. You know, it's like that's all.
No, but I see what you're saying there. Like, fight someone who's in your weight class who can actually, compare up fair.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're making these dream fights, reaching for this, and that's what I'm saying is that it's this trade-off fight where it's like, yeah, sure, you could say, oh, he beat him, he was this, and you'll notice it's funny now. Jake Paul in every single press conference, he's even pressing that fact because everybody made fun of him. Oh, you're from Vine and Disney,
right.
Da da da, and he's like, yeah. Now I get it. I get where he's coming from. It kind of makes sense if he wants to make the hype that he wants to make. He's like, yeah, I'm the Vine and Disney guy. He's getting get beat by the kid who's from Vine and Disney. Exactly. He's building that trade-off. It's like, yo, are you going to consider yourself a real fighter? Or are you going to still want to build that narrative like, yo, I'm a fucking Vine and Disney guy who's just beating people up? I'm like, right. You call yourself a boxer or not, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, hey, like I said, there's potential for him to make it to the pros. I don't know if
Of course there is.
It probably won't get recognized the way that,
That's the thing. He doesn't want to go through those motions and fight the smaller name guys. He wants to find these big names and just make a shitload of money.
Which is what I was getting into. It probably won't be recognized the way someone like Mayweather got recognized.
Well, absolutely. Well, any great. You know what I'm saying?
Not even a great. Just someone who like did what they had to do, grinded it out to get into the pros. Jake Paul's it won't be recognized like that because he's already rich. His net worth was already $10 million before the fight.
Well, Dom, this actually is part of what I was saying earlier. This is where I need you to actually think about this and not just be like, oh, when you put it in these terms, it sounds like this, but it is genuinely true. This is what I was saying earlier, and you cannot forget this. When you have all that money and you have the total spotlight, the world is your fucking playground. You know what I'm saying? Those are the words I've had to say. The world is literally his playground. Since he has everybody's attention and he has a shitload of money and he has enough and he has the connections, you know what I'm saying? Because of his name and his name is so big, he can make so much shit happen for himself. You know what I'm saying? Even if he loses this fight, like I said, he goes through those motions. Even if he loses this fight with Tyron Woodley, he can still have a comeback fight that'll make enough money.
It's still going to make a lot of money.
If he beats Tyron Woodley, he's just going to continue the hype for himself. And watch, I'll say this now. I feel like a vet. I don't know, actually, because if I'm being honest, before he had this fight, the contract signed with Tyron Woodley, I expected it. I don't know why. I thought he was going to fight KSI. Because KSI was saying he wanted to fight somebody again, and I could see Jake just being like, oh, you couldn't beat my brother, but hey, look who I am now. You know, which makes sense.
I mean, that's a part.
Think about it.
Yeah.
I'll say this much. I will say this. This is just a statement. This isn't a compliment or an insult. He is the god of this YouTube boxing stuff, of this YouTube social media boxing, no doubt.
He started it.
He's the god of it. I'll say him and Logan Paul. Well, you think about it this way. Celebrity boxing has not always been a thing, but it's been around for a long time. You know what I'm saying? 30, 40 years. Even our parents will probably say there was celebrity boxing. That was a thing. And that's what I talk about. You'll notice boxing has always been that little gateway because it's always been like, hey, you see these two celebrities arguing, let's make some money, let's step into the boxing ring just like how these other guys do it, and let's look like boxers, and people will love it. People like it.
Listen, all I know is Soulja Boy will probably cut. If anyone ever says, yo, I started this boxing thing, Soulja Boy would probably slide in like, nah, I did it first.
Well, Soulja Boy did everything first, you dumbass. What do you
Of course,
mean,
Soulja Boy was the first person on earth.
Absolutely. I'll say this too. What I was gonna say earlier. You'll notice the only real like MMA, I guess you could say, the only MMA fighter that has like a real striking background that Jake Paul has like tried to call out is Conor McGregor, right? Now here's the other thing. He talks to these MMA fighters. He talks to these boxers. You can't forget MMA fighters like in the UFC, especially UFC fighters. They're under contract. They can't just go somewhere else and take another fight.
Exactly.
And also half of them, even Darren Till literally put it in exact words because Darren Till was going. You know Darren Till, the fighter, the UFC fighter.
I've heard of him.
One of my favorite fighters, honestly. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. He literally said, like, in a tweet, he was like, because he was going back and forth with Jake Paul, he was like, right now I'm working on a UFC championship, you know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't got time for these games. But one day we can catch it, you know what I'm saying? And,
right.
Which makes sense. And it's honestly true. Like, Conor McGregor, he's a world-class fighter. I've been saying this way for a long time. He is, even though he just had his L, I'm a big fan of McGregor. I think he's done. But at the end of the day, he is a world-class fighter who's fought world-class opponents and goes for those big things. Like, he's not going to waste his time with somebody like Jake like that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like maybe he potentially will, but at least right now, no. When he's old, and that's the thing. Jake loves that controversy. Logan loves that controversy of literally. As much as I was saying fuck you to James earlier, I'm very sorry about that. I gotta say, Jake Paul literally lives off clout and controversy, and that is I gotta quote James from an episode of The Grease Trap a few weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? Because that's exactly the way they put it. They live off clout and controversy, just making their name bigger and people arguing about it.
And I think that's perfectly said. There's really not much else you could say, honestly.
All right, yeah. So the Logan brothers. Whoa! The Jake brothers live off clout and controversy. I said the Logan brothers.
No, you said the Logan brothers, and then you were like, the Jake brothers. Like it's any better. The Paul brothers.
That's enough.
See you next week.